Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back in Modeler today, and we're gonna do a little over sculpt, over paint, I don't know how you want to call it, session where some people sent some sculpts, and we're gonna try to improve on them as much as we can. You can see the before and after right here, but thanks to Cloud and Pauldron for sending in their stuff. It's very cool stuff. And hopefully we did a good job of improving and helping out those people. If ever you want to share your sculpts, just upload it and go post a link in the Discord, then I'm gonna link in the description. Alright, so we got these cool buildings by Cloud, and it's very clean, it's very well modeled. If I had to give some feedback, what I would say though is that it's not super obvious at first what these actually do. So yeah, maybe this is some kind of, refinery, or I'm not too sure, gas station. Probably he worked on these just to, practice and get better at making shapes, because everything's pretty nicely modeled and everything's pretty clean. But if I were to try to improve those, I'm not gonna do all 5 of those, but just to get a good sense of something, I'll pick a couple and then I'll kind of assign a function that I want that building to do, and then I'll continue to explore the shapes and the design with that in mind. So let's pick like our 3 favorite ones. Let's go with this guy, and let's actually pick the worst one too. So these 2 and this one. So we'll get rid of this, rid of that. So this one I find pretty funny because there's just guns on the building. Why not? Let's get rid of all this. This here. And then if you try to move something, it's all wonky, the axis, go global space. Boom. Okay. Now, for these, this one, I'm just gonna say it's barracks. This is like a sensor tower. And this is gonna be some kind of refinery, right? I'm gonna go with the StarCraft 2 Terran buildings. So for this one, what I will do is, it's a bit crazy. I'm gonna say, don't do that. I spent all this time modeling everything and splitting everything up, but I'm gonna merge everything together. So, draw this. Everything is very high res, so it might take a bit of time to merge together, but it's all good. This is the floor. The floor is all one piece, right? Yes. So, start with this. Wow. Okay. So, if we wanted to make a barracks or something, we want to kind of think about what it does, like what's the function of the thing, and what kind of shapes can we make so that it implies that it is a barracks, right? A big thing would be at first to do some kind of human scale, just so we see that, okay, this is about the size of a door, so that's about the size of a person. So when I look at it, I'm like, okay, I understand how big this is, because whenever I look at these, I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at, because there's no sense of scale, right? It's just a bunch of stuff put together, but you need to imply a function. Okay. So let's get rid of that. And I'm gonna decrease the resolution a whole bunch, just so that it's much easier to work with. Okay. So first thing I would do is probably establish, some type of door, but also indicate that there's a sense of scale to that door. Your symmetry is all wonky, but it's no big deal. We'll just go back, make a new layer, and then work on some type of door here. Just grab this door and move it over here. Boom. Okay. So let's say this door is, garage sized. So there's a truck that can fit into it. Let's get rid of this floor too, actually. Make the floor so that it's nice and symmetrical for now. Some more space to work with too. So this door is like a garage door that you can fit trucks and equipment through, all that stuff. But let's say I was to suggest actual size for this, I would put stuff that we kind of know what the size is. So like an exit sign, or some type of keypad, right? Or an electrical panel. Keypad to enter the code for stuff. Or like these little posts outside the garage to scan your ticket so that you can get out, or a little barrier goes up and down so that it lets people get in and out, right? You kind of want to indicate that type of stuff so that you understand, oh, okay, that makes more sense. I see how big the thing is, right? And then I would probably make some cool door here with, crazy sci-fi hinges and whatnot, right? Then make sure everything's attached. Go back and make them our little roof thing that he had. And one thing that I notice a lot too in your sculpts is that you split stuff very evenly, right? So what I mean is the space here in between each of your element is about this big, right? There's a little bit more here, but it's kind of evenly spaced, right? What I would like you to do, so if you want, more, modern or refined designs, is that you space it less evenly, I guess. So, stuff closer to the edge. Or just a better distribution of stuff. Like, it can be even, it just needs to look good. And the ratio that you choose, and often even numbers when you split stuff, so like here there's 4, usually 3 looks better, or 5, but you'll see it more with experience, I guess. Let's say I was to redo all of this. I'll probably grab one like this. Pillar thing, and then we can copy it a bunch of times. Now it is very even, but then you can start breaking up that evenness. Maybe this way. It's a bit more interesting than something that's very repetitive. So let's grab our thing. Oops. Steady on. There we go. Doesn't want to move properly, so I'm gonna use the warp tool to move it. There we go. So it's kind of a barracks. We have our little door for our troop or our trucks. Let's make like a door here for the personnel to enter. And cleaning up this so we can have more room. We can add antennas for communication, some windows, stuff like that. It doesn't need to be clean. You just need to have an idea of what you have, and then you'll clean it up later. If this is like the generator to place, well, we can detach it a little bit and then add some more interest in here. Maybe there's some cool wires that go from the generator to whatever it's powering, right? Here. Right? And then whenever there's shapes that are on the floor, I usually try to put something that hints at the fact that it's held on the floor, so that it's kind of, bolted in, or it's kind of strapped onto something. It's not just plopped straight on the floor. Like this is not that bad, but let's say this one, it's like kind of the intersection in between the floor and the structure itself is a bit weird, so I like to add little elements that hint at the fact that it's held properly. And I'll concentrate a lot of my detail on stuff that is supposed to be complicated, and what I mean is a generator is complicated. Like, its function is to make electricity so that it needs a lot of parts and everything's moving, and it's like a complicated piece. A door is not really complicated because it just opens and closes, right? So I'm not gonna make a ton of detail, like a bunch of different little parts on the door, because the door is a door, right? So I will focus my detail on stuff that needs to feel technological, or a bunch of moving pieces, I guess. Then we can go back over here. Maybe we turn this back on and we make some little barriers or something. Guide rails. I don't know. I'm trying to go in and out of symmetry too, not just always work in symmetry. I want my entrance maybe to be symmetrical, but not all of it. What about some lighting, right? You kind of need to see where you're going at night, so I'm just gonna hint at something. It doesn't need to be clean, it just needs to be kind of okay. Right. Lamppost. Oops. Can put another one over here. Over here. Over here. And for this, yeah, what is it? We don't know, but we can make something up and figure out a function for the thing. So, you know, maybe they're working in a factory or it's underground and they're doing something and they need some exhaust for the air, or the AC, you know. So, you know, we got these chimneys, they're cool, but I kind of want to hint at some exhaust, right? You need something to come out. So maybe it's like those AC modules like this, you know, with the little fan. I'm not huge on the shape of these exhausts, so let's chop away at it, and then let's try to make one cool chimney. And things off axis, but it's no big deal. Like this. Chimney are usually pretty long because you want stuff to go far away, you know, downwind. Let's chop some of it just to get a good ratio, and then make a hole at the top. And then maybe there's like a rail outside of it. Let's turn this off. Like a maintenance hatch or something. Let's make a little floor thing. Like this maybe. You know, it's still very crude, but you know, we get it just by seeing it. We're kind of understanding what it is. Let's put this here. Could probably repeat it much better, but I think my symmetry is kind of messed up, so this is going to be faster. It's all crooked, but who cares, right? Okay. Select all of this. Group it. Trying to match the, you know, the size of this to the size of the door. Let's put 2. And then merge all this. Then how do we access this? Well, you need some kind of ladder or something. So let's maybe exit over here. Let's make a hole. There. Symmetrical or something, yeah. Over there. Boom. Ladder. Merge all of that together. Ladder that goes down, and then down to where? I don't know, maybe there's a door here. Door's about this big, you know. There's a thing here. A little antenna, some wires. Make stuff up, right? You know, whenever you work like this, you make little stories in your head, and then you trying to populate the world with whatever your little story is. something that attaches here. So we already get a better distribution of big, medium, small shapes. You had a lot of medium shapes in your buildings, and the small shapes, it would all come from the kitbash stuff that you're using. Now if you look at this, you know, there's some big, large areas, there's some medium shapes like this, and then there's some small stuff, but that adds a sense of scale and believability to your sculpt. Okay? But try to imply function, trying to figure out what your stuff does, and don't just make shapes because you make shapes. Right? Try to think about what you're making. There's a little vent here. Who knows? But at least you know, right? So I think we get the idea. I don't know if I need to do the other two. But yeah, it's all about finding function for your pieces, implying that function, and trying to break the evenness of your pieces. And what I mean also by that is it's okay if stuff is kind of wobbly, because it's still like a little sketch, you know, and it's the same way you make stuff asymmetrical. You kind of want to have very clean pieces and then some jankier stuff that kind of hints at, you know, damage or wear or tear. It really doesn't need to be super clean all the time. And then whenever you're detailing, if you don't know where to place your detail, say it again, look up a ref, your favorite building, and trying to mimic whatever it's doing. I'll do a second one, but without talking, because I can focus more on the design, and then I'll see you back once I'm done. And I'll do this one. I'll try to make it some kind of sensor tower. I guess that's what it is, with the, you know, sensor radar things on it. So let's give it a try. So I did the same thing here. I added elements of scale, like doors, I added smaller details, so I don't have only medium shapes. There's some big ones and some very small ones, and then some medium stuff as well. I removed all the stuff that looked kind of like bolts because you don't really need bolts on a building. I made the whole thing look more like a building or a sensor tower. I did another like dish thing here, and then maybe some like propane fuel, so like indicating a lot of stuff, you know, even trash cans and lampposts, door bars, or you know, little cameras or system, alarm system. Again, make stuff up, make your little own world, and then build your building into it. Yeah, before and after. Okay, and then we got this one that comes from the Pauldron, and he wanted to make a cool mech that is modular, that you can attach, you know, armor onto it, and make a tabletop game or something like that. So this is actually very cool. We kind of have the opposite problem of the previous model that we got, and that is that the functionality is super nice and figured out. Like every joint is very, very tight, but the shapes themselves aren't great. Sorry, but there's some improvement that we can do to make stuff look, you know, sexier. And I really appreciate that you know, modeled everything and that it's super tight for, you know, assembly. It's very cool. Especially if you want to like build it for real, right? But I think we can get a better pose and then a better ratio of your character. So let's get rid of this for now, or actually we'll split this here. There we go. Okay. So what I would do first is put a ground floor, right? So let's grab square brush, check symmetrical, check our resolution, make sure it's slow, and then just plop down the ground floor. Below symmetry. Okay. Start over. Ground floor. Okay. Kind of align it with the feet. Let's get rid of this. And now I'm gonna try to get a good pose on the floor. We're gonna vary the ratio of these legs because it is, you know, very uniform. They're all the same length, right? Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. So we want some section to be longer and then some section to be shorter. It's more dramatic. Same for the arms. Usually I do the upper arm that is shorter and like beefier. And then the bottom of the arm is longer and slimmer. I'm gonna mess up all your joints for now, but it's all good. See, all these joints, we can figure the proper placement later, but for now we're just going back to kind of a blocky phase just to get a nice distribution. Same for the legs. I usually like to have the top leg or the thigh a bit chunkier. And then, do we even need like the third? I think we can get something cooler if we go like this. And then the third one be kind of in between. Something like that, right? It feels better, it feels heavier. The feet, we're gonna try to get something a little bit meaner too. Let's merge everything together. Let's make it kind of wider. A bit too big, but can chop some off. Then get a bit more thickness here. Now, probably this is too thick for the armor that you want to do, but if you want to clean everything up, it's pretty easy to just start chopping stuff and then making like a proper frame, you know, out of it. Just leave it chunky for now, just so you get a better sense again. Maybe extend this. I usually have a piece here, but you know, if you want it to be just the attach point, we'll make it something that you can attach something to, right? Indicate a clip or something. Are we happy with the bigger? They're pretty cool. Yeah, I like this proportions better. And then a much smaller head, maybe. And then for this too, we can refine the shapes, I guess. But this is kind of hard to explain how I make the shapes, like where I pull them from. Like I pull them from my brain and my previous experience, but also it's just like a lot of looking at refs and breaking them down and kind of internalizing the shapes. Do you want a reactor or do you want a canister here? I'm gonna have to, I don't know. I kind of like the entry plug. And tie it down. Okay. Have some fun with the radial symmetry here, I guess. This with 3. clamp. It holds our little power ball thing. Then let's grab all of this. Just flip it like that. Like this. But already we have a better, stance and distribution of shapes. Like the weight better. Maybe we can tilt a little bit to the front. There we go. So a bit like this. It's a bit more aggressive and like planted. I'm trying to look at it from like, every angle, so it feels good. And then what I would do is, create a link, move it over here, and then start cleaning this up. If you want to make like a proper cleanup, figure out all the joints again, but at least you have a good base to start with. And once you have each piece that's approximately the right size, it's easier to cut down afterwards, and then figure out the exact shapes that you want. Chamfer. And then, let's say we work on this piece. We want our joint to fit correctly. Place it here. Kind of line it up with our ball joint that was here. You can figure it out. You know how to do it. You just did it on your first pass, but it's about getting a nice shape of your piece first, right? Make sure that each piece that you make looks nice to you, right? If we want this piece to be symmetrical, you could always, merge it back on itself like this, and then place it back where you want. Oops. Hello? Yes. Okay. And yep, that's how I would keep going. I would try to figure out the function of the thing again, but I have a good base to clip my things on. I'm happy with every part that I made, and there's a good distributions of, shorter things to longer things, and it feels solid. It feels like there's weight, and it's gonna look cool once you place it on your tabletop. And then I guess the next step for you would be to, figure out all of your different combinations of armor that you want to put. And that's the same process. You just make good shapes. It's pretty. It sounds easier than it is. But one of the best ways to do that would just be, again, to look at refs, find your favorite robot, found the part that you find really cool in it, and then just try to replicate it. So let's say I have this ref from one of my favorite artists, he's Mojuki, and I want to replicate one of the part that I'm going to use for a leg, right? I'm going to choose this part, but I'm going to try to do it upside down so that it's, you know, the shape of my leg. So I'm looking at the piece and I'm like, okay, up top there's like a circle, and then it does this, and then this side is flat-ish. It goes like this, and then it goes back up, and there's a little notch. Right? So that's my shape. Upside down, like this. But I would take this, and I'd fill it up. Right? They're saying, what the hell is this? Well, don't worry. You grab it, you duplicate it a bunch of times with our secret technique. Both triggers and then left and right on the thumbstick. Go like this. Merge it. Flip it. Merge it again. But now if I cut this flat, I have a good chunk that's the exact shape that I just drew, right? And now, if I want, I can clean it up and use it as a piece in my thing, right? You know, I can get more precise with the circles. If my piece is too big, I can chop it. Put our little circle back in here, right? Start cutting into it, all types of stuff. But just look at a shape that I like. I make the kind of the same shape, and I use that in my own design. And it's okay because nobody owns shapes, you know? You can use them as long as you make it your own. And I did it because I modeled it upside down, and it's not exactly the same shape, but it kind of has the same, you know, essence. And if I really like that shape, well, now I can use it in my design. Yeah. And then it's just a matter of repeating this all over and then detailing it and then making sure all the joints are cool, and then, you know, it's the whole process. But that's how I would approach making just one clean section of it that I'm happy with, and then I can, you know, detail as much as I want, because I know that my piece is nice, right? There you go. Just do that for the whole thing, and good luck, and thank you for submitting your piece. Very cool robot.